We're speaking today about something that, if you follow the news from Israel, you cannot escape. The draft law, Chok HaGiyus. The political arena, the media, the courts are all busy debating, fighting, and it'll possibly be further taken out to the streets. The bill that was presented by the governmental Peri committee and has last week been voted by a special Knesset committee chaired by Ayelet Shaked, the head of the Habayit HaYehudi, the Jewish Home faction, in preparing the bill for the second and third reading. The question, of course, is, will the Haredi sector, or more specifically the yeshiva students, who have been dodging the draft for decades, raising the number of exemptions from 448 to over 60,000 in recent times, find themselves under the obligation to do their share in the civic burden in general and in the defense of the country in particular. As you may know, they vehemently oppose the idea and have been able to avoid being drafted all these years. But with the Supreme Court landmark ruling and the political upheaval over these issues and the gut anger that so many Israelis feel about this, the current political powers that be have realized that they can't avoid this issue anymore. So here we stand today with a draft bill that has been voted about by the special Knesset committee and is ready to go to the final stage of legislation in the Knesset. Well, read our resources below, because what you will realize is that inasmuch as there was tremendous public hope that indeed change will now, for the first time in decades, occur, in many ways one can describe it as the sham of the century, a historic travesty, not an historic opportunity that has been seized and realized, but rather a historic opportunity that has been missed. Because even though this is a government where the Haredi do not play a role, all factions involved have behaved as if the Haredi are still behind the scenes pulling the strings. Even though the statements and public declarations, and most recently Yair Lapid, leader of Yesh Atid and the Minister of the Treasury, announced Zionism is back. From today, every Haredi yeshiva student is like my son. They will all be receiving, as of tomorrow, draft summons. The truth of the matter is, there is anything further from the truth than that. What will happen tomorrow, or as soon as the bill is passed, is that tens of thousands of yeshiva students will be totally exempted from military service. What will happen is that the principle of equal service is not going to be realized at all. Rather, quotas, very minimal quotas, and the expectation is that in the year 2017, 5,200 out of some 40,000 yeshiva students will be doing either partial military service or national service. Hardly equality in shouldering the burden. But indeed, it is only in 2017, after the next elections, after the next government is going to be formed, that this will take effect altogether. So read the details below. We were hoping for a while that reason will prevail. We were hoping that our approach has been, as it was told by the committee chair herself, Ayelet Shaked, that reason will prevail and economic sanctions, effective economic sanctions, will be used rather than the delusionary idea of imprisoning tens of thousands of yeshiva students who will be resisting service. That did not happen. So all in all, what a missed opportunity. Important for you to read it to understand what's on the mind of Israelis, to understand what's going to be one of the key political and legal battles, because it's going to go back to the courts. and we are right in the middle of it. Read it, and you'll have a better understanding of what makes the Israeli tick these days. Shalom.